It's no secret that I'm a Harvest Moon fan. I've done videos about the game, talked about it in top 10 lists, and a long time ago, I even did a video on my top 5 favorite Harvest Moon games. But don't bother watching it, it's not very good, and is old. And on that list, I put Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life at number 4, but I'm not sure if I still agree with that opinion. Looking back, I remember having a lot of problems with the game. But at the same time, the creator of Harvest Moon, Yasuhiro Wada, said in a 2012 interview with Engadget.com that A Wonderful Life was the closest to the very original concept I had for Harvest Moon, and in essence, it's what I always intended Harvest Moon to be. So maybe there's more to the game than I remember. Let's play it now. We are this guy. We'll call him P-Butt. All right, I'm super excited to play. Harvest Moon, here we go. There's just one little thing I need to mention here first. Let's see here. Oh yeah, our dad is dead. That sucks. But he did leave us a farm to take care of. I mean, I had a lot of other stuff going on, but I guess I can just drop all of that and dedicate the rest of my life to farming. I don't see why not. Now, running an entire farm does seem a little bit intimidating, but no worries. We've got our dad's old buddy Takakura here to help us out. And by help us out, I mean, do basically nothing except occasionally walk around. The first time you talk to him, he even tells you to just figure stuff out on your own. But maybe I'm being too critical here. He does offer some other pretty solid insight, like, I also put some seeds on the shelf. They're there to use. Thanks, Takakuka. You helped me when you said words. They're there to read. After you're shown around the farm for a bit, 2 stray dogs show up and you have to pick one as a pet. I always feel bad about this part. 2 little dogs both looking at you with loving, hopeful eyes, and you just completely reject one of them.
A Zora, wow. A puppy. Oh, shut up over there. Nobody cares about you. Oh, a baby. Oh, I can't believe it. Sweet angel from just shut up over there.
But now that I think about it, maybe the dog that I picked is actually the unlucky one because I never feed him or play with him or anything. Half the time I forget that he's even there. Let's all raise a glass for my best friend, the dog. It is a painful, lonely life that you live. Then we're briefly introduced to the characters in the village, followed by the first cutscene with the Harvest Sprites. Harvest Sprites are nothing new for Harvest Moon, but there is something a little odd about them in this game. Normally there's some kind of purpose or story-related reason for the Harvest Sprites' existence, and even if there isn't, they're at least explained in some fashion. Or at the very least, it's acknowledged that only you can see them, and it's a little bit strange and startling that they exist. But in A Wonderful Life, they just kind of show up, say hey, and you're like, cool. I don't want to be all stereotypical and make a joke like, oh, he must be so high.
Look at the Harvest Sprites.
But it's literally confirmed in-game. In order to visit the totally not made-up apparitions from your intoxicated brain, Harvest Sprites, you have to go into the forest and eat a bunch of mushrooms. You then appear in their house. I mean, it's not even very subtle if you ask me. Obviously, P-Butt is not very interested in taking up his father's farm. He just feels socially obligated to do so, and thus, in turn, is self-medicating with various forms of narcotics. But hey, that's just a theory. Hit me up, Matt. I've got plenty more where that came from. As with any Harvest Moon game, the main focus is to run a successful farm. Of course, you can grow different kinds of crops depending on the season. It's pretty fun in this version, but it does take a long time for them to grow and a decently long time to water them as well. On top of that, it's not really as lucrative as it is in other games because unless you grow really high quality crops, they don't sell for much more than the price of the seeds. And the fertilizer is also crazy expensive. You know you're living in hard times when it costs a few $1,000s to buy a big pile of poop. They also added a couple new mechanics to the farming, the seed maker, which allows you to make seeds from crops, as well as hybrid seeds that are made from this creepy talking 2-headed plant named tartan. Now my lifelong dream of eating a tomato will finally become a reality. You also have the option to raise animals. Pretty early in the game, you get a horse for free, and he's already grown up, so you can ride him right away. You can't make any money off of him, but it definitely helps to be able to get around the town at a much quicker pace, and you can get a lot more done in a single day because of it. But he also can do tricks. Then there's the cows, which you can milk up to a few times a day. Personally, I've always wanted to make a huge dairy empire and become a multi-billionaire and rule over the
making everyone my slaves!
But it takes a long time to take care of the cows. You can buy the milking room to make it easier, but it costs a lot of money. So, I've never done it. But one day my dream will come true and everyone will pay for their sins. Why does everyone always look at me? Stop looking at me! In the end, I just went with fruit trees. They require basically no effort at all, and you can turn the fruit into seeds with the seed maker and make bank. Didn't even try, made lots of money. Didn't even try, made lots of money. Doesn't matter if it's rainy or if it's sunny. Just plant some trees and make lots of money. Or if none of that works for you, there's always fishing. All you have to do is sell whatever fish you catch to vet. What's that noise? Oh, no, not Van. Not Van, anything but Van. Come on, fish. Come on, yes! I'm gonna get it! No, Van! Why do you do this to me? Come buy lots of great things? What are you talking about? You only have 3 things for sale, and it's medicine you don't even need it in this game! Let's just take a look at some of the other townspeople. I remember not finding them all that interesting, but I don't know what I was thinking because this game has some of the weirdest characters in any game I've ever played, much less just a Harvest Moon game. Even Takakura says they're weird and doesn't bother introducing them to you. No matter what you do, just don't go over there. That's where all the weird people live. You know, just avoid this whole general area. If they touch you, you'll get infected with their weirdness and then you will die. I'm sorry to say that, but it's science. I mean, there's plenty of ordinary people, like more farmers, a couple that runs the inn, and an old rich lady, but then you've got 2 pyrotechnicians, a metallurgist, and a hippie? Professional hippie? That's my weakness, besides young girls, that is. Lumina, run. Run far, far away and never look back. And speaking of Lumina, the first cutscene you get with her is just great. In the middle of talking to her, Rock walks in and stares at you, and if you answer her question correctly, he just leaves without saying anything. Don't worry, dude, totally not creepy at all. As a kid, I used to feel bad for Murray, the local homeless guy. He's always talking about his old village, Popo Valley, and how he wants to return there, but isn't able to because he doesn't have enough money. You can occasionally find him begging near the bar, and if you talk to him, you have the option to donate to him. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, does anything happen if you give him money? Yes, something very specific definitely does happen. If you give money to Murray, you then in turn lose whatever amount of money you gave to him and have no way of getting it back. That's what happens. Okay, that's partially untrue. If you donate enough money to him, you'll eventually get a cutscene where he thanks you, gives you an ore that isn't worth much, and tells you that he finally has enough money to go back to his family. But then he comes back later and says, I drank too much and spent all my money. Excuse me, you mean my money, Murray! You spent all of my money, and despite Peanut's please expression, no, I am not happy about it! So yeah, nothing happens. He also steals food from your storage shed, and despite there being food literally all over the ground in Forget-Me-Not Valley, I still feel a little bit bad about not letting him have it. Then there's Daryl the scientist, who is by far the weirdest character in the whole game. Nearly half the cutscenes involve him in some way. He's always doing crazy experiments, spying on your farm and family, and he even spies on Flora, Carter the archaeologist's assistant. Also, he just looks weird. He's got something odd going on around his whole facial region. And speaking of Carter, he's also kinda strange. For starters, he does this all the time. I don't know what that's about. But you can also offer to help him at his dig site, which I did fairly often because you can find good gifts for other villagers there. But no matter how many times I did it, no matter how much stuff I found, he never wants any of it. I found ores, fossils, gems, gold, coins, and even strange statues made by primitive peoples, but nothing important. Which begs the question, what is he even looking for? And what exactly is he doing here? What is going on in this entire campsite? You know what? Maybe Daryl actually had a decent point. I don't think this guy even gives a crap about archaeology. I think he just likes living in this small tent with Flora. You know, just having a good
time, right? This is actually pretty fun. I like it.
I feel feel like I've been talking about this game for a while now, and I've barely even mentioned one of the most important aspects of the game, the fact that you can get married. Similar to almost every Harvest Moon game, in order to get married, you have to befriend one of the eligible bachelorettes, or if you're playing Another Wonderful Life, one of the bachelors. You can do this by talking to them every day, and much more importantly, giving them things. Giving things to your girl every day, it'll rock her world, it's the only way to make her like you every day. Make sure that you don't forget a day, because if you forget a day, she will never forget that day. Later on, she will make you pay because of that day. She will never stray from that making you pay. I found this in the dig site over there. I don't even think it's rare. I found about 10 just a day, but I think that you want it anyway. If you don't marry me, your life will be filled with misery. I think you want this garbage I found, cause I'm the only single guy in town. The special edition version of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life also adds Lumina into the mix, but it has other problems. Most importantly, a really bad lag FPS problem. The whole game is just super slow, and it kind of is like this, and it's not fun, and it's not good, and it's not fun, and it's not good. Okay, it's playable, but it's already a pretty slow game to begin with, so I ain't got time for any of that. I'm doing this a lot today. It's also much easier to get married in this game than it is in other Harvest Moon games. In fact, the game forces you to get married after the first year. And if you don't get married, the game just ends. You hear that, single people? What's the point, am I right? So this time I went with Nami. She's quiet and mysterious, but I think she likes me. Don't be so eager just to say hi. Well, she said yes when I proposed to her, so that's good enough for me. I still think the small list of eligible marriage candidates is a big negative, but there's a much bigger emphasis in A Wonderful Life on your child. He actually grows over time, and your choices and actions in-game even have an effect on his personality. For example, if you're good friends with the hippie guy, also known as Gustavo, but I prefer hippie guy, your kid is more likely to be artistic. And while I didn't really appreciate this as much growing up, I think I like it a lot more now. There's something cool and rewarding about seeing your kid growing up and becoming his own person. It's something that no other Harvest Moon game really offers. And you know what? I think I've got this whole kid thing down. Honey, I think the baby needs you. You know, in the end, I think I was wrong. Or was I right? I was originally right, and now I'm wrong. This game actually is pretty good. In fact, I could even say so much as to say as it is a wonderful life. That didn't make any sense. I think what I'm trying to say here is, now that I've given it some more time, some more thought, I love this game. Wait, what's this? What's going on? Am I dying? Am I dead? Yep, it looks like I'm dead. I played so long that my character died, and I can't continue playing. I hate this game. This video is sponsored by absolutely nobody. So why don't you check out my gameplay channel, PBG Gameplay. There's a link in the description, or you can click right here. Been playing some Super Mario Sunshine and a bunch of other stuff. Have a lot of fun over there, so go ahead and subscribe. I paid myself $5 to say that. Sucker. I would have done it for $3. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, help me share it around with a like, comment, all that stuff. Or you can just share it with everyone you know. Wow, how nice of you to suggest that. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos, make sure you also subscribe. Other than being able to see new videos in your timeline, it also just makes me feel better about myself. So it's almost like you're doing two good things for the price of one. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, all that stuff. Links in the description below. And check out the last video I did right here. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye-bye. As with any Harvest Moon game, the main focus is to run a Hey, it's me, the peanut butter guy, here to talk to you about YouTube today. Ha 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 ha. Subscribe to my channel, please. Aha, yes. Don't.